Topic number 2. Zelda Breath of the Wild is going to be out in just a couple weeks. And not a whole lot more is trickling out because, this game's about to be launched. Obviously, with the new trailer that they showed recently at the Nintendo Switch unveiling and having a lot more people get to play this across the country, everyone's unanimously saying this is just awesome. I can't wait to see how they do. All I keep thinking about is the original Zelda, but like in a huge 3D open world that you could spend hundreds of hours in. Well, they just announced this. I think they should have waited, but let me run through this. They just announced that they're going to do a Zelda Season Pass, which is going to come in 2 parts. It's $20, all inclusive, so you can't do parts of these. It's all or nothing. Pack number 1, we're gonna get into
that worked
why.
out so well with Mario Run.
Pack number 1 that comes out this summer. There'll be a new Cave of Trials challenge. I don't know what that means or how big that is or how much content that is, but okay. A new hard mode, question mark there. We'll talk about that. A new feature for the in-game map. Okay, that's pack number 1. And this isn't listed here, but apparently there's going to be 3 treasure chests that pop up in the world, but nothing that's going to be game-changing or groundbreaking. And one of these things includes a Nintendo Switch T-shirt that your Link character can wear. Psst. Totally worth the money.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Pack number 2 comes out holiday 2017. An all-new dungeon and a new original story and additional challenges. People, the internet's been very divisive on this. This is the first time a Zelda game has had DLC. What's you guys' initial thoughts of this?
Oh, I like the fact that they're actually including DLC for a franchise that could really benefit from it.
I agree.
I mean, the fact that just the nature of the game itself kind of lends itself to this kind of thing where you're already in an expansive world, regardless of which Zelda game that you're in. And just to have extra quests, extra storylines, extra boss fights just appended onto the game itself.
Right.
I think it's actually a good idea. I'm surprised they haven't done something like this sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But, the descriptions that we got out of these as far as what's going to be included in these expansion packs is very minimal. I think original story can be taken multiple ways. Obviously, it's probably not going to be as big as the scale of the major storyline. But so are we talking like a little? You come into a village and you have like 3 quests.
I agree
by talking
with you.
to some lady. But so again, I like to see like some of the details on this fleshed out a little bit more. But I am hopeful and optimistic with what they're going to be doing with this, and that. This might not even be the last DLC expansion that you'll see in Breath of the Wild.
Right. Since they're saying season pass, you'd assume there might be more seasons. Matts, what's your initial thoughts on this?
I think if I'm paying $60 for a game, that I shouldn't have to pay for extra content. I feel like it should be uploaded as Nintendo comes out with it. I mean, it's kind of one of these things. You want me to keep playing Legend of Zelda for the next 2-3 years? What are the level caps? What extra content is there?
Well, this is interesting because actually we're basically getting the majority of both opinions that we're getting on the internet that's very divisive. And I agree with both of you, and I got questions for both of you. Well, first of all, let me give you my take on this too. Number 1, this is the first time Nintendo doesn't tend to be your crowd that plays The Witcher 3, right? They're kind of tend to be a different crowd. Because this is new for Nintendo, I mean, they've had DLC before. In fact, the DLC that they put out for the most recent Mario Kart 8 has been universally praised as some of the best DLC that's ever been put out for a game. I mean, they just kept loading you with awesome stuff that really added to the replayability of the game and added a bunch more content. But even without that content, the game itself was great. But knowing that this is new for a Zelda game, anything new, you're going to hear a lot of bitching. Now, some of that was going to happen regardless. And some of that, I think, is the way that they presented this. Because I hear your argument about if I paid for a game, I shouldn't have to pay more to play it. And they could have done that and not added this extra content. And you don't have to buy the DLC content. The game itself, my guess is, for $60, you're going to have quite a game with over 100 hours of gameplay if you explore the world. So do you think that means that they should never add on?
Okay, with 100 hours of gameplay, but we've talked about it before, No Man's Sky, how fast can I beat it?
True.
Is it 13 hours? Because the chances of me coming back and wanting to play it again, if it's 13 hours...
No, I totally agree with you, but whatever, let's say Zelda's 20 hours, 30 hours, 60 hours, whatever you want to be, whatever it is, if that's all the game came out with, and you bought that and you played that, And does that mean that they should never add more stuff to this game? Never even have that option for some people that want it?
No, add it, but add it to a cost to me that already paid $60 for the game? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think about this like Borderlands, the first one. I played every single mission I got, every one. And did it drag it out to longer than the time that it took to beat it? Yeah, I did. I probably paid it for 80 hours to beat every single level, every mission, because I didn't want to miss out on anything. But at the same time, I mean, I would not have paid extra for that.
Mm-hmm. Does it matter
so
what
if
the
this
content
game doesn't
is?
have... Yeah, but if this game doesn't have the 100 hours of content...
Well, no.
And then they're going to try to feed me some additional levels through DLC or some extra content.
Sure.
It's not going to be worth it.
No, I hear that. One of my arguments to that would be is all the content that they put into this game is you're getting the full 60. They didn't have anything that they're holding back. In fact, one of the reasons that they talked about that they don't have more details is they haven't even made the content. This is going to be extra stuff that they're having to put a lot of development and resources into. One of the things I think that they could have done to dissuade some of the negativity, not all of it, because you're always going to have some pushback on something like this, especially the first time they do it, is when you put out announcements like this, you want to highlight the big things that show value for this $20, because I agree with both of you. I'm excited that there could be more if I choose to pay for it, as long as it's big and worth the money. But if this is $20, which is about a third of the price of the game, am I going to get more additional content than I already get with the game that would take up at least another third of what I've already put into the game? So let's say that you beat the game in 60 hours. Is this going to give me another 20 hours of content? Because some of the DLC you got in The Witcher, that shit could last you a long time. That was well worth, for most people, the price that they paid for it. And the fact that they haven't even gone in to create this content yet, which is great, shows that they're going to be developing some serious stuff. But when you're going to announce this, when you lead with, you get a Nintendo t-shirt that Link can wear, you're already putting them in a sour mood. What's the first thing you do?
Yeah.
Here's what's coming out. We're going to have a lot more story that's going to give you at least what we're estimating this more significant play time. And then by the way, also, you get like these treasure chests and extra hard mode. You put them in as bullet points afterwards. You don't list all these things equally the way they did with this press statement that pisses people off. And I just think that this is a testament that a lot of times Nintendo doesn't seem to understand Western audiences and, more importantly, presentation, how you get this across. Because if this would have come out with, and all they would have highlighted with was huge new sprawling dungeon, all new original story, and then also new trial, hard mode, couple treasure chests, and a t-shirt that your character can wear, you'd have a much different reaction than
a new Link tunic.
Not necessarily, because one of the things with downloadable content that I know way back when it was first starting to come out is that it people can interpret it as a negative part of the core game itself.
Right.
Like, you haven't given me the full value of the game that I purchased. You've actually have all this other content, whether it's developed
You're
or not.
holding back.
But yeah, exactly. You kind of held back, and now for me to really get the true value of the game, I have to put in an additional investment, which for a lot of people it turns it off. So the difficulty is trying to get that balance in where you're really trying to drive home this game is substantively complete. What you're paying, what you're getting out of that $60, it is the complete game.
Think World of Warcraft runs into that now?
I think that's an MMORPG.
Because they have so many
that's
expansions.
No,
but I mean, if you're talking about extra content, I mean, same thing with like City Heroes when they came out with City of Villains, and then they came out with City of...
I just think that I agree with you, but I think that falls into a different paradigm because that's something you're paying for every month too. We're a world. I mean, I think you have a different set of expectations for that than you would with something like Zelda that you pay a $60 fee for, and that might upset you.
I want to pay $6 for a complete game.
Right, exactly.
Yes. But when I think about those other things like World of Warcraft, you bought it and you got a complete game. You started buying expansions.
Yeah, in order to because essentially
to me that's how I view a DLC is that it's got to be an expansion. It's got to be extra lands. It's got to be all these other things. Extra swords, extra whatever.
Well, let me ask you guys this, because here's what I think they should have done. I don't think they should have announced this at all. I think they should have waited until April or May, because then you're already in the mindset. You bought the game. A lot of people are going to play through it in their first couple of weeks and already beat the game. And then you can go ahead and roll out, hey, by the way, we're working on giving you more if you want it. And then you're not in the mindset that some people can feel like, why should I have to pay more money? And when some people asked the Nintendo about this, that said, you're getting some kind of divisive sides on this, just like we're seeing right here. They said, we expected that to happen, but the reason that we wanted to get this out now is, and I think that they did this because Nintendo doesn't have a lot on the palette for the Switch. And they wanted to, for some people that were on the fence about getting Zelda or a Switch so that they could play Zelda, maybe just getting it on the Wii U is, hey, listen, if you get it right now, and we're working on some stuff that's not even developed yet that you'll be able to get later. So into the summer and this coming Christmas, you'll have something cool. I think they're trying to incentivize as many people to get a Switch as possible. I just think they're trying to get those Switch numbers up.
Yeah, which is not the best way to do it.
It's not what I would
agree with Dan 100%.
As a consumer and a person that would be excited about this game or getting a Switch, I would rather they would have waited. From a business, I totally see why they did it, and probably would have done the same thing.
I don't though. I mean, let me buy my initial investment of the game. Then tell me, here's what you can do to make your investment better.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me you're buying baseline.
Yeah.
But then when you pay more, you're going to get premium.
You get even more Zelda. You get better Zelda.
I agree with you.
Don't tell me that someone else can get better Zelda than I can get better Zelda.
I think about that initial reaction anytime I hear about any game coming out, and then
I'll just pay $80 for the full version.
Yeah,
because that's how people would interpret
it. Then pay $60 for the basic.
Yeah,
that inherent gut feeling. Anytime I see a game's about to come out, and then I see, oh, here's another season pass 2. I just think about that gut reaction that's going through you, and it's usually this. Ugh. Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Yeah. Oh wait.
Yeah.
I'll buy the $60 version that has all that content later on.
Yep. And you know what? To be fair too, nobody has to buy this. You know what I mean?
But just putting it out there is just it's
gonna make some people feel.
Well, it's shortchanging the game. Because it's the same thing that Matt's kind of because people, when they see that down, especially when the game hasn't even come out yet, and even though they haven't developed the content for it yet, there is that reaction where, well, that means all you're telling me is that there's extra stuff on there, but you're not going to give that extra stuff.
So you mean shortchanging as far as perception?
Yeah,
they haven't changed or taken away any content.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's all about people interpreting the game.
All
they do is they see Matt gave a good example. You're just giving me the base model.
Yeah.
You're giving me the vinyl seats and the.
Yeah, I can't argue that.
I want the GT model.
Yeah,
but I can only buy the basic.
Yeah. Nobody likes that feeling.
Yep, I agree with that. I mean, are you guys big into DLC? Have you guys done DLC for other games before?
Yeah, and the expansion packs on World of Warcraft, that's a little bit different because I consider that a service, not just a game. I mean, that's a little different. Expansion, more worlds.
But when I think about it, here's the content. Now, if I went out and bought World of Warcraft right now, do I want to buy the first one? No, I want to buy the most recent.
Yeah.
Can you do that, or do you have to have the original and then get the? I don't know how that works.
I don't know exactly how it works either. But at the same time, I'm not going to go out and buy. I'm not going to spend $60 on the first one.
Yeah.
And then have to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
What other DLC have you guys gotten before in the past?
I've gotten some from Dragon Quest. No, I'm sorry, not Dragon Quest. Dragon Age.
Okay.
Which again, that was kind of like, I guess, my first real foray into.
But they tend to be big, open.
Well, it's more of the game that you'd already know and like.
Right.
Just kind of taking extra pieces and kind of tacking them on, so you get like essentially what they're describing here. You get more maps, you get more monsters, you get more story, you get just kind of more of everything that you like about the game.
Right.
Just kind of appended onto it.
Yeah.
So,
Matt, have you done any DLC?
I haven't, but when I think about it, I think my son loves playing Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm constantly hearing about, I want to buy this skin, I want to buy this, I want to buy that.
Yeah.
And there's no value in it to me.
Right.
Because it doesn't change the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's still Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It just might look like Pokemon, or it might look like, whatever else, like some seasonal thing. They still want $5-6 for it.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love the microtransactions.
To me, there's no value in it. It's still Minecraft.
Right.
It may look a little bit different, but it's still the same game.
I can't argue with you guys with the perception and the feeling because, I mean, I think an argument can be made, well, the game's not going to change. It's still going to be the same game for the same amount of money. But every time I think about a DLC coming out, like as soon as this came out, my first gut reaction is like that because that perception is going through your head. And there's few games where DLCs come out that I actually felt, I'm trying to think if I've actually got anything. Did South Park Stick of Truth have any DLC? I think it was just characters or something like that, but I don't think there was another mission or anything.
I don't remember.
That would be a game. See, that would be a game if South Park Stick of Truth had like another day, you know what I mean, that you could play where, because I mean days go by in that game, right, where you go and you have to fight 3 other new fights and they have a whole additional storyline that you can go out there and it's like another 5 to 10 hours and the DLC is like $10. Fuck yes, I would want that. That game was awesome, and I was craving more. I would definitely do that. Yeah. I think about other games that were great, like Batman Arkham Knight, and I know they had tons of DLC, right? You could do a little bit. You could buy little increments. You could buy a season pass. You could just buy parts of them. And there was some stuff that I read that people said were really cool, so a whole bunch of new Riddler quests or whatever it was. I have no desire. Mm-hmm. I mean, the game was great enough on its own, and I didn't give a shit. And even when when that DLC was announced, and now the trend season pass, my first thought was again, Jesus, how much money is this freaking game? And I got to tell myself, well, the game's not changing. You're still getting the same game for $60, but you're right. That perception you cannot avoid. And that's probably why you're seeing it so much here. I just think they could have alleviated at least some of it if they would have presented it a little bit better and got it across a little bit more. But I don't know.
Well, no, and that's it. I mean, I agree. The expansions are different than the DLCs, but to me, they're almost the same thing.
It's just more money for more content. In this
well, yeah, you think about buying a computer game, you know, whatever it is, you buy it. This new content comes out, and you got to buy the new content. It's kind of like
you're right.
You can't just give it to me.
Big part of
I've already paid for it.
Expansion packs are obviously so big, the money's worth it. I think this really comes down to, is the value I'm getting for this, the money I'm spending, worth what I'm getting to me in my mind? As an example, when the original Legend of Zelda, Surprise Us All, had a second quest. If we found out that this DLC was $20 or $30, it's only going to be $20, but let's say it was $20, $30, and it was going to be like a whole second quest like the original Zelda, would that be enough value for you guys? Where you basically get to replay the whole game again and it's remixed.
Jeez.
To me, that would be enough value. I don't know if I'd do it, but to me, the value would be there. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, that's awesome, but we really don't know.
If I could play it and experience something different, then maybe yes.
Right. But
especially
that has
if it was
to
only
come
a third
across.
of the price.
It has to come across the consumer, and so far this is so vague. Who knows? Well, cool. I wanted to talk about that.
Another way to make money.
Yep. Yep, exactly. And you know what? If anything, the way that Nintendo has, I mean, they did DLC for Smash Brothers, and that went really well. They did DLC for Hyrule Warriors, which people apparently universally praised. But most importantly, the Mario Kart apparently DLC was some of the best that was given out there. So they've got a good track record. I don't think that they let this out to the public in the most positive way. But I've got a feeling this is probably going to be pretty good.
Nintendo has a bad habit of not putting it out to the public in a good way right now.
No shit. Or like for the last 20 years. Yeah. Cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about Zelda Season Pass? Are you excited to buy it? Do you think it's worth it so far? Let us know.